It turns out that while they're double dipping, it looks like they may have been double dipping, something like 66% of the money in the joint bank accounts were held by Barrick and her lover. It came from the SPLC. Talk about complicated cobwebs here of financial potential wrongdoing. I don't see her getting out of this one too easily.
No, I mean, I think this is a tremendous albatross across the SPLC's neck and across the neck of Bayrak's own organization, the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism. I think it's important to say,
So she had her own?
Yes, she started her own organization after the activity in the indictment. So yeah,
their response must be very, I mean, their response must just be, you know, white supremacists are coming after us. We are still doing good work. Don't believe the indictments. Don't believe your lying eyes. That must be their response then. They seem pretty adamant.
We've heard over and over from the left that this is all just made up from Trump to go after civil society organizations. And I mean, it's so odd the way that their gaslighting works, because they've been saying, oh, Trump is going after civil society, and the SPLC is an example of him going after civil society. Meanwhile, I've been watching this group for years, and I've been seeing them as the number one threat to, guess what, civil society, because they put mainstream conservative and Christian groups on a hate map with chapters of the Klan, a map they say shows the infrastructure upholding white supremacy in America, a map that has led to at least one attempted terrorist attack, and yet somehow questioning them is somehow an attack on civil society. There is no organization, to my mind, that engages in the sort of rank defamation, systemic smearing of the other side that really limits the ability of civil society to have good debate between two sides of issues worse than the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Wow. I would like to say donations don't lie, and I think that could apply here, Tyler. Talk to us about the numbers. Has the Southern Poverty Law Center experienced a boon in donations since all of this has come through, or are they seeing a dip? Their documentation is public.
Since the indictment, or since they started allegedly propping up these organizations? So when they
since the indictment.
Yeah, well, since the indictment, we don't have concrete numbers yet, because the indictment came in April, and we won't see until the end of the year, and actually even later than that, because of the way that the IRS filing requirements work. What I can tell you is that based on the history of this organization, whenever they're able to make the claim that white supremacy is on the march, it has led to a large increase in their donations. So the biggest example is the Charlottesville riots, which, you know, I can't say enough how much I and those of us truly on the right condemn the vile rhetoric that was spewed by those people, saying that, you know, the whole Jews will not replace us. You know, that is beyond the pale, and anyone who is a real mainstream conservative, you know, not just denies it but condemns it outright. But what we saw,
well, it looks like it was paid for by SPLC.
Yes, the SPLC had on their payroll one of the organizers of the Unite the Right rally. And so we have really big questions here as to what their involvement was. This guy who was receiving SPLC money brought more people to the rally, and according to the indictment, was supervised by SPLC staff in terms of making his racist posts online. So, you know, this is the sort of thing, this indictment is not light. I mean, many on the left have been saying that Trump is just going after the SPLC for what they believe. Well, we saw the SPLC file a motion in court. It was a motion to dismiss for vindictive prosecution. And just last week, the judge emphatically rejected that motion because the SPLC could not prove that the prosecutors here were motivated by animus as opposed to merely trying to enforce the law. And if you look at the concrete claims in the indictment, the SPLC is charged with footing the bill for Klan robes and Klan hoods, with reimbursing cross burnings, and of course with Heidi Beyrick's whole situation of sending money to these so-called informants who then live off of them, and 66% of those bank accounts. That's a pretty penny.
Do you want to see more truthful reporting like this? Watch 16 hours of live news coverage and 4 primetime talk shows every day on One America News. Find us on YouTube TV, Spectrum, Dish, or the OAN Live app. When you want the news delivered straight with no noise or spin, choose One America News.